Today on Community Cooking, we have Chef Vandana Sheth bringing a healthy vegetarian twist to Mexican cuisine. We're serving up roasted cauliflower and walnut tacos served with black beans and roasted corn salad. We're cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community, so grab a seat and get comfortable. We have another great meal for you. This is your Community Cooking. Hi, and welcome to Community Cooking. I'm your host, Maria Prekeges, and I'm always excited to have my friend and guest chef who's next to me, Vandana Sheth, with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Maria. Great to be here.
Well, we love having you here because it's always healthy, because you are not only a registered dietitian, but you also help people just with their relationship with food.
Absolutely. Food is such an integral part of our life, but it should be tasty, delicious, and healthy.
Well, and when it's all of that and it's healthy, you can eat it and you don't have to worry about a lot of ailments and different things, because I think even with you, a lot of food is almost preventative medicine.
It truly is, and that's the goal, because food, especially some of the herbs and spices we use, research has shown that it can help us prevent some of these chronic conditions.
Which I love. And today, again, simple, vegetarian, vegan. Tell us about what we're making.
We're making some delicious cauliflower walnut tacos served with a black bean and roasted corn salad, and we're going to show them two different ways as to how we could enjoy them.
Perfect. So let's go over ingredients.
Okay, so for our tacos, we're going to use some onions, jalapenos, some tomato paste, garlic, olive oil, oregano, cumin, paprika, and for those of you who like spicy, go ahead and throw in some red chili powder.
That's me.
And salt. And that's the base. And then, of course, we're going to use some cauliflower and walnuts.
So the cauliflower and walnuts, that's the meat of our taco.
Exactly.
I love it. So let's get started. Where should we start? Should we start with the pan on the stove because it's getting hot?
Exactly. So we're going to start with the pan. I'm just waiting for it to heat up a little bit. And while that's going on, we should also turn on the oven because we're going to be roasting our cauliflower. And the oven needs to be heated up to 475.
475. All right. I will do that while you start chopping. So tell me, how did you get into cooking, and especially nutritional cooking?
You know, I was born and raised in India, and my mom was a phenomenal cook. I watched her cook every day. She'd pick out the best ingredients in the stores, and sometimes we actually had the vendors come to our home.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
And so it was awesome seeing her cook delicious homemade meals every single day. It was not boring. It was flavorful and healthy. And I was raised plant-based, so that was just the way of life.
Oh, wow. Being Greek, there were a lot of plant-based salads and veggies, but there was a lot of lamb. So
nothing wrong with it if that's something you want to use. It's a matter of portions, right? It's all a matter of portions. Everything can fit into a healthy way of eating.
That's so true. And you know, nowadays it's such a fad to be on this diet or this style of eating. And it's just like, you know, just get some recipes that you like, experiment, and shows like this will show you how to make great healthy dishes as well.
Exactly, exactly. Now, one tip with the jalapenos, if you like it spicy, leave the seeds and segments in. If you don't like it spicy, just take off the segments and seeds, and that'll reduce some of the spices.
I like it spicy, and here's my tip. Don't rub your eyes after handling a jalapeno.
True.
I did that once. It did not come out pretty.
No, you want to get those spices off your hands.
Yeah, it's for like 2 days.
Okay, so we're ready. I think the pan is ready, and we're going to toss in some of our olive oil.
Olive oil is so good for you. Look at that cute little spoon.
So we're just I'm gonna raise this heat up a little bit.
Okay.
And you can start seeing it.
So we need a little sizzle.
A little sizzle.
Well, and it's funny, when you said paprika,
Uh-huh.
the only time I've used paprika is on deviled eggs as a garnish. So it's good. It's a spice. I don't think people think, oh, I'm going to use it in a recipe. It's always just a garnish, kind of like nutmeg.
Right. Exactly. But it's good for you, and it adds that little taste, but not the bite of red chilies.
Okay.
So you get the color and flavor, sort of. And especially if you get smoked paprika, it adds a whole other element.
I know. Well, and it's all about spices. And I think a lot of time, especially with Indian cooking and even some Hispanic and Mexican dishes, I get afraid because I'm like, oh, where am I going to find those spices? But you can find all of these right at the store.
Exactly. None of these are exotic spices anymore. Most stores carry them.
Well, especially here in Southern California, we have a lot of great resources and a lot of great stores. And of course, the cauliflower from the Torrance Farmers Market.
Right, and
All
we're
the
so
veggies and
lucky.
fruit.
We're so lucky to have that farmers market right here. You can start hearing the oil
Yes.
and the onions.
There's nothing like smelling sauteed onions.
This ended up being a much bigger onion than I thought.
That's okay. As long as the onions are cooked, I love them.
Okay,
I can't
good.
eat them raw. Don't put them on, a burger. I won't do it, but
So we're just going to let that cook a little bit.
yeah, it smells good already. Now the heat's cooking.
And so you want to cook them till they're about light golden brown.
Okay.
And that way you have the flavors, but it won't taste too raw.
So now, and does everything after we cook the onions separate first, and then when do you add the spices and the meat part?
So as soon as the onions are sort of cooking, we're going to go ahead and add the jalapenos, the garlic, the
Okay.
spices, and the tomatoes, and let this simmer. And we're going to put our cauliflower in the oven to roast.
Oh, that's right. Cauliflower's going in the oven.
Right, and so while we're waiting for that, I'm going to actually, you can buy cauliflower either as a whole head, or you can
Yes.
buy florets now at the store, so you don't really have to prep it anymore.
Well, cauliflower is hot in the store. I mean, you can get it 4 different ways in the produce aisle.
Exactly. And so for this recipe, I'm going to cut them up a little smaller,
Okay.
just because we want them to have that meat-like texture, like a little smaller florets. But you could leave it as you want.
Or eat it raw while
Or-
you're cooking.
Right. And cauliflower is an excellent source of nutrition. It's a cruciferous vegetable, and it's one of those vegetables that are good for you as far as preventing cancer. Same with onions and garlic.
Well, and I cook with a ton of vegetables. I grew up, I would say, with my grandmother saying, pull over, and she'd pick greens from the side of the road, and we cook them. I know, it's so, fun to grow up with ethnic cooking in your house.
It really is. It expands your palate. You're used to trying on different things.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I know, I'm like, she's making Mexican food? We're not getting Indian food today? Wait a minute. But it's a great twist and a great healthy twist.
Okay, it's
Oh,
getting
that
there.
smells good.
It does smell good.
Well, yeah, and then these will get a little smaller in the oven when we roast them, but it is, like you said, you want it to be kind of the hamburger,
Exactly,
chicken
a little
meaty.
ground.
Yeah.
And if you'd like, you don't have to cut them up. You could actually put them in the food processor and crumble them up
Oh,
and use them. Or roast them first and then chop them up a little
Okay.
bit more. And you could do the same thing for the walnuts. And
which are so, okay, tell me what's good about the walnut. I know so many.
walnuts, they are so good for you. They're one of the heart-healthy nuts, and they have omega-3 fats, the plant-based source of omega-3 fats, which is really good for your heart health, for your gut health, for your brain. So walnuts are an excellent source.
I better eat all of them because I need help in all of those areas.
So as you can see, the color is changing a little
Yeah.
bit.
So we have, healthy things for every part of your body in this recipe.
It really is, and it's a fun recipe. And as you see, when we put it together in 2 different ways, you can mix and match once you have the base. And actually, if you just switched up the spices, you could make this the meat for your pasta sauce and make it an Italian-themed dish.
See, so many different ways to use it. And I never have heard of, a lot of people try to get different vegetarian or tofu meat to use in tacos or any sort of Mexican cooking, but I have never heard of the walnuts, which I love. Because that way you get your protein too.
You do. You get protein and heart-healthy fats and some fiber. Okay, so I think our onions are just about ready.
Okay.
So we're going to go
Ooh, the
ahead and
hot
add
jalapenos with the seeds and
jalapenos.
everything
Yep,
in.
because Maria and I like it spicy.
Yes, we do. I like to cry when I eat.
And while I'm doing this, if you wanted to go ahead, I'm actually going to have you line up our baking tray with
Okay.
these florets that are already chopped up.
Perfect. I can do that. Florets. It sounds so pretty. It's like a bouquet. So now you're adding the garlic.
I'm adding the garlic, and it smells so good.
Oh.
And
And then I've been so into tomato paste, I've been making all my own spaghetti sauces
Really?
lately. or any sort of marinara.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, it's funny. A friend of mine was on a weight losing program, and she goes, "Do you know how much sugar's in store-bought spaghetti sauce?" Now, not all of it. They have a lot of good organic, but I said,
Right.
"You're right." So I've just been making a lot of that.
Good for you. And one interesting fact about canned tomatoes, people often don't think about canned food as being healthy.
Yes.
But really, canned tomatoes are a higher source of lycopene, which is a cancer preventive chemical naturally
Isn't
in the
that
food.
funny? And they just, I mean, canned tomatoes, they just cook them and can them, and there aren't a lot of preservatives in them. I've
No.
looked at the labels, so.
And you can always find ones without added sodium or no added salt.
Yeah.
And so that's an option if you're looking at the sodium content. Oh, that smells good.
Oh, that smells so good.
And so moving on to our cauliflowers.
Yes.
So when we want to put them in the oven, all you want to do is just drizzle a little olive oil.
You don't need a lot.
No,
Some
just-
people over drizzle.
Just a little bit, and that's it. And you can either use your hand or,
Notice how I just shook them like that?
and that's it. And you just put them in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how crunchy and how golden brown you want your cauliflower to be.
Perfect. I'm going to grab the mitts
Perfect.
because you already have some in the oven cooking for
I
us.
do.
So I'm going to swap them out of the oven while you let that simmer. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. I like the small pieces. Oh, and they smell. So just olive oil, no
That's
salt and
it.
pepper because we
Nope,
have all the other
We're going to add all those
spices.
seasonings right here.
Look at that. Oh,
And
yum.
so now I'm going to add my oregano,
For the Greek in me, she's adding oregano. Thank you.
the cumin.
I use a lot of cumin in
I do
things.
too. It just smells so good and tastes good. And this is paprika.
The spice not just for garnishing anymore.
It adds a more vibrant color.
Oh yeah.
And we will add a little bit of chili.
Why not? I mean, if you're cooking it for a large group and a few people might not like a lot of spice, you can back off on it. But she knows me well.
And of course, we're going to add some salt.
And kosher salt. Everyone cooks with kosher salt, correct?
It really doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you.
Okay.
And so as far as sodium content goes, they're pretty much the same.
Okay.
So whatever is user-friendly. I like flakes just because they sprinkle and spread easier.
Yeah. And they look pretty.
They do.
Oh, that
Okay,
smells
so
so good.
that is just about ready. And all we need to do is add our roasted cauliflower and add our chopped walnuts.
All right, here, I will hand you this.
Perfect.
We'll
Thank
swap.
you.
And the walnuts are good size. You don't have to chop them small, which I like because they're hearty.
Right, and you can buy them chopped, even finer, or you can do that at home.
I love walnuts.
And what I didn't mention is I had already roasted those walnuts.
I was going to say, they kind of taste,
A little crunchier.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you swap out the cauliflower, at the same time, just turn down the oven to about 350 and roast or toast your walnuts. So that'll add a little texture element as well.
and can you do the walnuts in a dry pan? I do sesame seeds
Yep.
that way too.
Yep, totally.
I always tell the story that my mother used to always toast things in the oven and we'd forget. So I was always running to the store for more sesame seeds.
Oh, that's funny.
So I do them on the pan so I can keep an eye on them.
Good tip.
Yeah. All right, well, that's cooking just a little bit longer. It's a great time for a break. We're going to clean up and we come back. Black bean and roasted corn salsa, and we're going to put everything together. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Community Cooking. Welcome back to Community Cooking. If you're just joining us, I'm with Vandana, Sheth, and we're doing a very healthy vegetarian way for tacos.
Yes. So we already got our fake meat ready,
Love
which is
it.
the cauliflower and walnut.
Everyone in the studio is like, oh my word, it smells so good.
And so to accompany that, we're going to make a black bean and roasted corn salad.
All right, and
Okay.
your dressings are always so simple. I love them.
Thank you. And so all it is just olive oil and some lime. So you want to roll this out.
You always
right?
want to, I use so much lemon and lime in my recipes now that I'm constantly.
So
Oh, and that's a fun little
little gadget.
juicer.
Right.
And then roasted corn, how do you just roast it in a pan?
Exactly. Or the cool thing is now you can find roasted corn in the freezer section.
You can find everything nowadays, which is so fun. So it's really simple. It's just the ingredients are the roasted corn, black beans.
Right.
You need a lime and a little bit of olive oil.
Exactly.
And a little bit of salt.
Right. And then we're going to top it off with some cilantro and green onions to add a little color, and some tomatoes, again, more color. It's all about eating with color.
And I just like this big bowl of chips. It's the side to the tacos, but can we just say I'll just eat all of them?
What's not to like about chips,
Oh,
right?
well, corn chips are gluten-free if you don't eat gluten.
Okay, I think that
right.
should be good.
So a little bit of lime, a little bit of olive oil.
And usually it's about 1:4 or 1:3 ratio as far as
Okay.
oil and the acid goes. And I'm just going to put some,
Some salt.
Salt.
You always have to have a little salt.
and that's it.
And then she does her shake, shake, shake.
I'm actually going to give this to you.
Oh, I gotta do my shake, shake, shake. It's like I'm bartending, my old days.
And when that's ready, I'm just going to prep this. These are just some green onions.
Look at her slice and dice that.
Okay.
Lovely.
That's done.
And some
some
cilantro. I
cilantro.
love cilantro.
I do too.
And you just chop up the stems and all.
Exactly. Why waste?
Well, I know, and they taste great.
They
and
do.
It adds a little more fiber. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have you actually add, get me some of the tomatoes.
Tomatoes?
Yep.
And these are beautiful from the farmer's market here in Torrance.
Exactly. And you can either use them whole or chop them up. So I'm just going to get a few.
Oh, those are like candy.
Are they really sweet?
I'm always eating while I'm cooking, so I cook with a lot of vegetables.
Smart. Good way
It's
to
my-
get them in.
I know, and I'm just like, I'm tasting along the way.
Okay, I think we
Oh.
are just about ready.
Yum. Oh, the faux meat smells so good. All right,
Okay.
next.
So we're just going to toss, yep,
The
our roasted corn
Roasted corn.
and our black beans
Some black beans and everything, again, so good and healthy for you.
and colorful also.
Yes.
And so we're just going to toss this in.
I'm still shaking just for fun. Getting my workout in before I eat my delicious, healthy vegetarian meal.
And that's it. We are just about ready to serve our black bean salad.
And
And
just
of
go
course,
on.
the dressing.
I was going to say, well, I like to mix everything together first, like you're doing, and then add the dressing.
Okay.
Just a little dressing, served with extra love. Ooh, that smells good. I like using lime. A lot of people use lemon for a lot of things, but I'm substituting lime sometimes, and it works out well.
Nice. It can be a milder flavor.
Yeah.
Interestingly, in India, growing up, we just had one fruit. It was called a lime or lemon. It didn't
Oh,
matter.
that is how some people call a soda in the South. You ask for a soda, and it's just one brand, or, a Coke can be anything. It's funny.
Okay, so we are ready.
So that's our side dish.
Yep.
And now we're going to show everyone how to put together tacos real quickly, and then we'll taste.
Perfect. And so I wanted to show a couple different ways. So many of my clients, for different reasons, actually are watching their carb intake. Either they have diabetes or they can't handle the carbs,
Yep.
for, whether it's gluten-free or whatever their restrictions. And so I'm just going to get this.
The pit, I haven't seen a pit split in a long time.
Yep.
And
I
then
haven't
for
either.
those who do carbs, I love these because you can't overeat with little corn
thin.
tortillas.
Exactly. Those are like little street taco tortillas.
I love that.
And so I'm just prepping all our garnishes together.
Okay.
So then we can easily assemble it.
And we have some cabbage and some cheese.
Right. And for those of you who want to keep it vegan, you can just skip the cheese.
Yeah.
And so it's completely plant-based. So there's our
I
avocado.
love that you just grew up plant-based. That's all you ever knew.
Yeah. It's just a way of life. Okay,
Okay.
so we're ready to assemble our meal. So we can either use the tortilla or the lettuce.
How about I'll do tortillas, you do lettuce, and if
Okay.
you want to put a little of the fake meat in mind to
Right.
start us off.
Perfect. And then what we want to do is also show a different way, one that's like a power bowl.
Oh, we love those. So
let's
I'm
see.
going to do a little meat, the
There you
fake meat. I
go.
can't wait to taste these. And I like a little cheese.
Perfect.
Pardon my reach. And what else would you put in? Just those? I just like that, like a
Do
street
you want
taco.
some cilantro, some green onions? I can quickly chop some up for you.
You know what?
Or just take a little.
I was going to say, I'll just take a little. Perfect. Just the green onion. And then I'd love you just have them on a little plate. And so then for the lettuce ones,
We're just going to do the same thing.
and then the power bowl, you just have some shredded cabbage.
Right, so what I'm going to do for the power bowl is I'm actually going to use the shredded cabbage as my
Okay.
base. Or actually, I could use one of these.
Perfect. Oh, and then it's going to be all pretty.
And just chop it up, rough chop.
Okay.
So got some green color, got some cabbage, and then got some of our meat.
Oh, I love it, love it, love it. I mean, and it looks like meat. It doesn't look like
Right, and then we're going to top off some
with some,
black beans and corn.
oh, gotta get a tomato in there. Look at that. Oh, that's yummy.
Perfect.
I eat a lot of stuff like that.
And we got there, and we got some
Little avocado.
and you could prop some chips in there.
Oh, pardon my fingers, but I'm gonna do.
There you go.
We need 3 because I like my chips.
Perfect.
And kind of eat it as a dip. And so then the wrap, the lettuce
And
wrap,
same
it's
thing.
the same thing.
Same thing. We're going to go with some more of
Cabbage
this.
and lettuce, it doesn't get much more healthy than that.
I'm going to add some of my bean and corn salad. And I'm going to keep mine plant-based with no dairy.
Oh, okay.
So it's just going to go right there.
I love it. All right, we're gonna make a few more. We'll assemble a few more. We'll clean up, and when we get back, my favorite part, tasting. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Community Cooking. Welcome back to Community Cooking. I am with my friend and chef Vandana Sheth, and we just made faux meat tacos, as I like to call them. Walnuts and roasted cauliflower and a ton of great spices.
Exactly.
And then the black bean salsa,
Right.
or salad. I call it salsa because I will start dipping chips in there soon. And then you were great. You showed us you can make them regular taco, a power bowl, which I love, or
Lettuce wrapped.
yeah, lettuce wrapped. I'm going to start with the black bean, roasted corn and black bean salad. See, it's so simple, your dressing with just the lime and olive oil, that it lets all of the flavors come out.
Isn't it light and fluffy and tasty?
It is so delicious. All right, I'm picking up my street taco. It might be messy. Stand by to taste the meat mixture that is all, mine's not vegan because I have a little cheese, but yours is totally vegan. Okay. You don't know that's not meat.
That's awesome. I'm glad you like it.
The flavors and the spices and the walnuts add something. They
An
don't-
extra crunch and flavor. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what it is. It's just
Okay, those are both delicious. Together, I would just mix all of this up and just start eating it.
awesome.
Thank you so much for being here. It's always so much fun, and your recipes were amazing.
My pleasure.
As usual, I really hope you all try this at home. For Vandana, myself, and the entire crew, thank you so much for watching. And remember, we really do have some of the best chefs right here in our own community. We'll see you next time on Community Cooking. That is so... I'm making that.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget, you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.